I've stumbled onto a major company conspiracy, Mac. How about that for stress?
What the hell are you talking about?
This company is being bled like a stuffed pig, Mac, and I got a paper trail to prove it. Check this out. Take a look at this.
Jesus Christ, Charlie.
That right there is the mail. Now let's talk about the mail. Can we talk about the mail, please, Mac? I'm dying to talk about the mail with you all day, okay? Pepe Silvia. This name keeps coming up over and over again. Every day, Pepe's mail's getting sent back to me. Pepe Silvia, Pepe Silvia. I look at the mail. Well, this whole box is Pepe Silvia. So I say to myself, I gotta find this guy. I gotta go up to his office. I gotta put his mail in the guy's goddamn hands. Otherwise, he's never gonna get it. It's gonna keep coming back down here. So I go up to Pepe's office, and what do I find out, Mac? What do I find out? There is no Pepe Silvia. The man does not exist, okay? So I decided, oh, shit, buddy, I gotta dig a little deeper. There's no Pepe Silvia. You gotta be kidding me. I got boxes full of Pepe. All right, so I start marching my way down to Carol in HR, and I knock on her door, and I say, Carol, I gotta talk to you about Pepe. And when I open the door, what do I find? There's not a single goddamn desk in that office. There is no Carol in HR. Mac, half the employees in this building have been made up. This office is a goddamn ghost town.
Okay, Charlie, I'm gonna have to stop you right there. Not only do all of these people exist, but they have been asking for their mail on a daily basis. It's all they're talking about up there. Jesus Christ, dude. We are gonna lose our jobs.
Well, calm down, because here's one thing that's not gonna happen.
What?
We're not gonna get fired.
We're not.
Because we've already been fired.
We've lost our jobs?
Yeah. About 3 days ago, a couple pink slips came in the mail. One for you, one for me. So what did I do? I mailed them halfway to Siberia, okay?
If we've lost our jobs, that means we lost our health insurance, which means all of this was for nothing. God damn it, dude. I'm having a panic attack. I'm actually having a panic
Will
attack.
you settle down and have another cup of coffee?
I am, bro.
All right, well, fine. You know what, Barney? Give this guy a cigarette. He's freaking out.
Huh? Who?
Barney. He's the guy who tipped me off to Pepe Silvia.
Barney? Who the hell is Barney?
You don't see... Oh, shit. What the hell did he...
You've lost your mind. You've lost your goddamn mind, Charlie.
What's happening, guys? Supernova here, back with another video, and today we're going to be talking about the Xbox tax. No, not that Xbox tax. Not the $29 billion the Xbox owes the US government in back taxes. That one's real. Today we're going to be talking about the made-up one, the Xbox tax. Because if you don't know what the Xbox tax is, it's some kind of fucking tinfoil, Illuminati fucking conspiracy theory as to why Xbox games supposedly don't score well or don't get nominated for Game of the Year. And it's just about the biggest crock of bullshit / copium I've ever heard in my fucking life. It's just this term that Xbox fanboys throw out every time a game that they feel should have scored higher doesn't get the score that they think it deserves. Every time a game that they feel is game of the generation doesn't get the accolades that they feel it deserves. Every time a game that they feel should be game of the year doesn't get nominated for the things that they feel it should get nominated for. You seeing a pattern here? The term Xbox tax has nothing to do with anything that actually exists in reality, and instead revolves around their perception about the brand that they themselves are in love with. And of course, if you're an Xbox fanboy, you're gonna hype up every single game coming exclusively to your platform as the second coming of Christ, as a game that's gonna be Game of the Year, scoring in the mid-90s, Game of the Generation, before you've even played a fucking second of the game. And then when the game finally lands, whether it's good or bad, you're gonna sit there and try to tell the world how fantastic it is, whether or not that is the case. A fantastic example of this is Redfall. There are motherfuckers to this day that will tell you at launch that Redfall was a fantastic game that everyone should have given a chance to, and not enough people were playing it, and it deserves better, when the reality is, Redfall was a dog shit game. It was not a good game. And it wasn't just the bugs that were the issue. Yes, there were lots of bugs, but bugs were not the reason why Redfall was not a good game. Redfall was not a good game because it was a bland, generic game. The gunplay felt okay, but everything outside the gunplay was terrible. The entire world felt empty and devoid of life. Combat encounters were not fun. The enemy AI was brain dead. Boss fights were not fun and not difficult. The end boss could be beaten without firing a single shot at it. When me and my buddy fought the end boss and killed it, we were like, that's it? That's the final boss? It was laughable, okay? Redfall was not a great game. But they will still tell you, oh, it was a fantastic game. And anyone that says otherwise is just a hater, Sony pony fanboy. And if you point to its Metacritic score and say, but yeah, the shit has a 56 on Metacritic, they'll immediately come back with, yeah, but it's because of media bias or the Xbox tax. Never mind that the fucking user score is 3.5. The reason why I scored a 56 is media bias or the Xbox tax. Now listen, because I'm willing to believe whatever narrative you have to spin, whatever tale you have to tell, if you can back up the claims that you are making with some type of irrefutable evidence to where I have no choice but to sit back and say, you know what? I didn't really believe that that was the case, but now having seen the evidence that you've put forth, I have no choice but to say, you know what? There may be some there. But when it comes to the media bias, Xbox tax narrative, there fucking is no evidence. There's zero. And any quote-unquote evidence that they'll give to you is usually some bullshit anecdotal evidence that doesn't hold up. It doesn't hold any water. It's about the dumbest shit I've ever heard in my entire fucking life, right? Like, y'all hear people say IGN is biased towards Xbox. Not like a person at IGN, but all of IGN. The entire company of IGN is biased against Xbox. And I say, okay, show me the evidence of this bias towards Xbox. And then they'll show me one fucking review that one guy put up that they didn't like. And I'm like, okay, well, maybe that person is biased towards Xbox, but even if that one person is biased towards Xbox, how can you then say all of IGN is biased towards Xbox? Like, that doesn't fucking work that way. You can't just take one person who gave a game that you like a score you don't like and then say that person's biased towards Xbox, so the whole company is. No, if you're going to claim the entire company is biased towards Xbox, I'm going to need to see evidence that the entire company is biased towards Xbox. And anytime someone wants to say that all of IGN is biased towards Xbox, I just hit them with this picture of review scores given to Xbox games over at IGN. And then say, how the fuck can you claim that this company is biased towards Xbox when these are the scores they're giving to your games? And now, if I was dealing with a rational person, a person that wasn't fucking delusional and lost in a fucking Xbox echo chamber world, they would take a look at that image and say, you know what? I don't have an answer for that. Because clearly, those are great scores. But since we're not dealing with rational people, you know what I get hit with when I fucking show people that image that try to claim that IGN is biased against Xbox? When I say, yeah, biased against Xbox, but how do you explain this? This is what I hear. And this is not an exaggeration. This is not a fucking joke. Ready? Put your tinfoil hats on, guys. Because this explanation will only make sense if the tinfoil is on. You got your tinfoil hat on? Okay, ready? No, you see what's going on here, guys. You don't understand. You don't understand, okay? See, look, they give the good scores. They give those good scores so they could then shit on Xbox. That's why they give the good scores. They get the good scores because they really are biased, but they don't want you to know they're biased. They want to hide their bias so they can put the good scores up there like bias camouflage. So they can put the good score up there and then shit on a bunch of other games. And then when you say they're biased, they go, look at the good score to try to hide their bias. Don't you see, guys? It's all part of the plan. The plan to get Xbox out of the gaming industry. They want Xbox to die, and they want Phil Spencer out of a job because they hate Phil Spencer and they hate Xbox. It's all part of the plan, guys. This is weird. This is no bullshit. The fucking shit I hear on a daily goddamn basis. These people are out of their fucking minds. They are out of their fucking minds. And again, if they could provide some type of actual evidence of widespread bias at IGN towards Xbox, I'd be willing to say, you know what? I can see that there may be something there. But they don't have any evidence of widespread bias towards Xbox at IGN because there is none. Any type of quote-unquote evidence they have will be one person said this, or one person gave that score, one person is the entire fucking company. I don't know how many people work at IGN, but it's more than one fucking person. And if you're gonna claim that the entire company is biased towards Xbox, you need to bring some goddamn facts. And they don't fucking have any. And the reason why we're hearing more about the Xbox tax than ever right now is because of this event right here.
The nominees for Game of the Year at the Game Awards are Alan Wake 2, developed by Remedy Entertainment, Baldur's Gate 3 from Larian Studios, Marvel's Spider-Man 2 from Insomniac Games, Resident Evil 4 from Capcom, Super Mario Bros. Wonder from Nintendo, and The Legend of Zelda, Tears of the Kingdom from Nintendo. And there you have it. Those are your nominees for the Game Awards. A highly competitive year for sure, but who will come out on top? Well, you can help select the winners by voting now at thegameawards.com and on our Discord.
That's the reason right there. Because Starfield did not get nominated for Game of the Year. And by the way, if you've seen this clip of Yoda anywhere on the internet, just want to let you guys know, I made that shit. That is my handiwork right there. I fucked up, by the way. I should have put my Twitter handle on that thing because it went fucking kind of viral. And I've been seeing it fucking everywhere and not getting any credit for it. So I'm going to give myself credit for it, goddammit. But yeah, if you've seen that shit anywhere, I made that shit. Just want to let you guys know that. But yeah, so Starfield didn't get nominated for Game of the Year, and that has caused these Xbox fanboys to lose their fucking minds because they can't fathom a reality where Starfield didn't get nominated for Game of the Year. And of course they can't fathom that. Why? Because before they even played a single second of this game, they were going around and telling people this is Game of the Year. Nay! Game of the generation. This is going to be the greatest game ever fucking created. The most technically advanced game ever fucking created. People are going to be playing this game for decades. It's going to be the second coming of Christ. Jesus is going to come down, lift up his robe, bend over in front of Todd Howard and spread his cheeks so that Todd Howard can slide into his heavenly hole, and then he's going to ascend back up into the heavens, leaking Todd Howard babies out of his asshole. Oh, fuck. I'm fucking stupid. Oh, shit. But yeah, so these people were going around for months before the game even came out, telling everybody and their mom that this is going to be Game of the Year, nay, Game of the Generation. It's going to be a genre-defining game, a generation-defining game, a game that's going to be played for decades upon decades. It's going to be the ultimate gaming experience, all this other bullshit, right? They were spinning this huge narrative about how great and amazing this game is before the game even landed. So, of course, by the time the game finally did, they weren't going to sit there and be like, actually, you know, guys, all that Game of the Generation shit may have been a bit much, because Starfield's just an okay game. Yeah, it's not bad. It's okay. I mean, it's just not Game of the Generation. They weren't going to say that, right? Because they told everybody and their mom how amazing this fucking game is. Even though, remember, they hadn't played a single fucking second of it prior to telling that. So, what do? They continue with the narrative. No, it is Game of the Generation. No, it is Game of the Year. No, it is the greatest game I've ever played in my life. Oh, it's the greatest game I've ever played. Right? They continue with this narrative, even though that's not the case. And it's very easy to see that that's not the case just by looking at the achievements for that game, right? You look at the fucking percentage of people that got to level 10 in that game, which is not hard, by the way, and barely anyone's fucking done it, right? People are picking up the game, trying it, and putting it down. They're not sticking with it because, contrary to what they may fucking tell you, it is not the Skyrim in space that they say it is, that we all hoped it was, that I hoped it was. I'm a fucking lover of Bethesda RPGs. I have the fucking map of Cyrodiil from Skyrim literally framed because I love Skyrim so much, right? I love Bethesda RPGs, have since Oblivion. Starfield just isn't as good as those games. That's the unfortunate truth, ladies and gentlemen. And the hysterical irony here is the same people who are claiming that there's this Xbox tax and media bias because of their own bias, are unable to see that that is their truth. Their bias will not allow them to fathom a reality where Starfield is not that game. Their bias will not allow them to fathom a reality where Starfield is not nominated for every single fucking category that it could be nominated for and win those categories. Because even if Starfield was nominated, they would still bitch if it didn't win. Right? That's these people. These people, they're bitching because it's not nominated. But even if it got nominated, they would bitch if it didn't win. Because in their minds, their bias will not allow them to fathom a reality where Starfield is not God's gift to mankind. Newsflash, it's not, okay? It's not a terrible game. It's not a horrible game. It's just not that game, okay? It just isn't. And I'm sorry that you feel it is that, or that you've convinced yourself that it is that, but it's not. And just because it didn't get nominated for Game of the Year doesn't mean that there is an Xbox tax or media bias. The only bias I'm seeing in this equation is yours. And then another piece of, what they'll call evidence of an Xbox tax or media bias is this clip of Major Nelson, and I believe he's getting interviewed by Greg Miller, but Major Nelson basically says that he knows that, Xbox doesn't get the credit they deserve because people, they measure Xbox games with a different stick, or basically that people treat Xbox differently. And they're like, see, even Major Nelson knows that there's an Xbox tax. Don't try to tell me there's no Xbox tax. Major Nelson knows there is one. And it's like, that's not proof that there's an Xbox tax or media bias, you fucking idiot. That's proof that Major Nelson has a fucking excuse to why his games don't do as well as he believes they should, right? That's just an excuse. Oh, yeah, no, we know that people don't treat our games as good as they treat other games. That's a fucking excuse. That's not evidence. Just because Major Nelson said it, get the fuck out of here. These are the same type of people that will post a developer praising their own game and saying, here, look, that's evidence of how good this game is. I'm like, you mean the guy that made it is saying how good it is? Well, no shit. He's the guy fucking making it, right? That's like me going around saying, hey, just want to let you guys know, I got a 2-foot dick that makes bitches come on insertion. Is that true? Who the fuck knows? But of course I'm gonna say that, right? It's me talking about my own dick. A developer talking about their own game, hyping up their own game. You can't take that shit as evidence of anything. You can't take something that a developer says when praising their own game and use it to add validity to whatever fucking bullshit narrative you're trying to spin. Right? Of course the developer hypes up his own game. Of course the guy at Xbox is going to have an excuse as to why Xbox doesn't score as well as they think they should. Of course the guy at Xbox is going to have an excuse as to why his games don't get nominated as much as he thinks they should, right? Of course the guy at Xbox is going to have an excuse. But just because that guy makes that excuse doesn't mean that that is reality. And to take that fucking Major Nelson clip and say, hey, there it is, guys, boom, right there, in your face, fucking dunking on you like fucking Jordan, evidence of media bias and the Xbox tax. Are you fucking insane? No, that's not what that is. But you want to tell yourself so bad that the fucking Xbox tax is real that you'll latch on to any fucking evidence, anecdotal or otherwise, to try to fucking back up or bolster your argument that this shit is real. And again, when I say to the people, hey, media bias, where? I don't see any media bias. What's your evidence of the media bias? And they go, are you kidding me? All the media bias. That's not a fucking answer. That's not a fucking answer, okay? But look, I just want to break down some of the shit because evidently, again, the Xbox tax, the media bias. So let's look at the Metacritics of some of these fucking Xbox games because they would, if you listen to these people, you would think that none of their games score well, right? Not a single Xbox game gets a decent score in Metacritic. And there's the other thing. They'll try to say that Metacritic is biased. Metacritic is part of the Xbox tax. And it's like Metacritic is a fucking aggregate. It's an aggregate. That means they took the average of all the scores from all the fucking people that reviewed the game, and you took the aggregate score, and that's the score that they give, right? But instead of looking at the aggregate, they'll look at individual scores, and they'll go, look at this guy, he gave the game a 3 out of 10, and look at this guy, he gave the game a 4 out of 10. These people fucking review bombing the game. Oh, they review bombed the game, and that's why the game scores so low. As if review bombing was exclusive to Xbox games, right? PlayStation games never get review bombed. No, that never happens to PlayStation games. Are you fucking kidding me? Both sides get review bombed. Xbox games get review bombed. PlayStation games get review bombed. Review bombing is not exclusive to Xbox games. But anyway, they'll look at these fucking 3 out of 5s and 4 out of 5s and say, look, there's the evidence right there. There's media bias. I'm like, okay, but what about the fucking 10 out of 10s from reviewers that literally have Xbox in their fucking name? Right? Those 10 out of 10s, those are 100% on the level, right? That's not people with Xbox in their name just giving a game a 10 out of 10 whether it deserves it or not, right? Those are 100% legitimate scores. And they'll say, yeah, of course you think those are legitimate scores. And listen, I'm not saying the 3 and 4s out of 10s are legitimate, right? I know that the review bombs happen. I know that those fucking low scores are bullshit. But I also know that a lot of the 10 out of 10s from people with Xbox in their name is also bullshit. And that's why we use aggregates. Because the bullshit 3 out of 10s and 4 out of 10s and 0 out of 10s will get fucking canceled out by the bullshit 10 out of 10s. And then we end up with the aggregate score. This is not something that is exclusive to the Xbox platform. The same shit happens to PlayStation games. It happens to every PlayStation first-party game. It happens to every Xbox first-party game because fanboys are pieces of shit, okay? I'm sorry that fanboys are pieces of shit, because they are. Anyone going and giving a game a bullshit low score just because for some reason you don't like that fucking plastic box, I'm sorry, you're a fucking asshole, you're a loser, get out of your mom's basement, go get some pussy, maybe they'll change your perspective on life. But to point to bullshit low scores and say, bam, evidence of media bias and the Xbox tax right there, as if the same thing does not happen to PlayStation games, is disingenuous at best and a flat-out fucking lie at worst. Because you know damn well that the same shit happens over on the PlayStation side. So you can't use that as evidence of the Xbox tax when it also happens to fucking PlayStation games. So miss me with that bullshit. But just for shits and giggles, okay, let's look at the aggregate scores, these Metacritic scores for these games, the evidence of the Xbox tax, okay? Here we go. Microsoft Flight Simulator 91. Seems like a pretty good score to me. Deathloop, even though it released on PlayStation 5 first, it did come to Xbox later, and it is an Xbox first-party game now, in 88. That's a fucking great score. Forza Horizon 5, 92. That's a fantastic score. Forza Motorsport, 85. I'm not seeing a problem here. Pentiment, 86. Halo Infinite, 87. Hi-Fi Rush, 87. Psychonauts 2, 87. Starfield, 83. None of those are bad scores. The only bad score in the bunch is Redfall, and it is fucking deserving of that fucking 56. But where I ask you is the evidence of the Xbox tax, because I'm sorry, when I look at this grouping of scores, I'm not seeing this tax on Xbox games. Why? Is it because Hi-Fi Rush got an 87 and you think it deserves a 95? I don't give a fuck. What, because Forza Horizon 5 got a 92 and you think it should be 100? Like, where is the problem here? I'm not seeing it. And if you're going to say, oh, well, PlayStation games score better? Well, did you ever stop to think that maybe, just maybe, the PlayStation games are better? I know Xbox fans don't want to say that out loud. They don't want to think that, but just maybe, PlayStation games are better games. And listen, if you don't like third-person, narrative-driven fucking games, if you don't like the Uncharted style of games, if that's not your thing, I get it. You don't have to like that style of game. And yes, PlayStation first-party games tend to be mostly that style of game. But I think it's undeniable that the games that they release are of a higher caliber than the games that Xbox releases, right? That's why you hear people say that Xbox just doesn't have their God of War this generation, right? Like there's a game on the PlayStation side that Xbox does not have an equivalent to. And it's not just like, oh, that's fanboy bullshit. No, Xbox themselves, in their own internal documents, said that they don't have anything that even comes remotely close to being as good as The Last of Us Part 2. Whether you like the game or not, whether you cared for the story or not, Xbox themselves said, we don't have anything that comes close to being on the level of a Last of Us Part 2. So maybe, just maybe, those PlayStation games are better. And I think it's a valid criticism to say that all PlayStation makes is those third-person narrative-driven games. That's a valid criticism. At the same time, they've gotten really fucking good at making those third-person narrative-driven games. And that's probably why they score better. But if you listen to the narratives coming from Xbox fanboys and those individuals that believe in the fucking Xbox tax Illuminati, you would think that PlayStation games got significantly higher scores than Xbox games. Like, not even close, right? And that's just not the case. Look, let's go through some of these Metacritic scores for PlayStation. We got a 92 for Demon's Souls, 87 for Final Fantasy 16, 94 for God of War Ragnarok, 87 for Gran Turismo 7, 90 for Marvel Spider-Man 2, 88 for The Last of Us Part 1, 88 for Horizon Forbidden West, 85 for Miles Morales, 88 for Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart, and 86 for Returnal. Overall, do they seem to be higher scores than Xbox, Scott? Yeah, kind of. Is it significant? No, not really. I mean, let's just look at the averages of the scores, right? If we look at the Xbox scores and average them, I'm not going to include Redfall in the average because that's obviously going to tank the average. It's also a game that obviously launched with a lot of issues. So excluding Redfall from the equation, if you were to average the other scores, the average Xbox rating is 87.3. Now, if I were to do the same thing on the PlayStation side, the average PlayStation rating is 88.5. We're talking about 1 percentage point here, guys. They're essentially 1 percentage point away. So where is the evidence of the Xbox tax? Where the fuck is it? Is it because you believe Xbox should be the 88, not the 87? Is that what this is? Is it because you believe Xbox should be number one and it's not? Because being 1% behind an average for scores doesn't show me there's evidence of a fucking Xbox tax. That's honestly what this bullshit is. It's guys who are so enveloped in that fucking plastic box, who love their Xbox so much that if their Xbox isn't number one, if their games don't launch and are the best, then, it's not Xbox's fault, it's not the game's fault, it's the Xbox tax, it's the media bias. Xbox first-party games drop, gets a great score of 85, nah, it deserved a 90. It's media bias, that's the Xbox tax at work, guys. I'm so tired of hearing this bullshit. These fucking people are delusional. They're fucking delusional. Okay? They don't have any evidence that this shit exists because it doesn't. It's made up. It's not real. It's the equivalent of the fucking boogeyman. Okay? The Xbox fanboys, they have a boogeyman, and its name is the Xbox tax. It's bullshit. They have zero shreds of evidence to back up any fucking claim that there is such thing as an Xbox tax or media bias towards Xbox. And any type of bullshit anecdotal evidence that they can provide to try to make their point, guess what? I can do the same fucking thing to try to say that there's actually, in fact, media bias towards PlayStation. And there's actually, in fact, a PlayStation tax. How wouldn't that be fun? Fucking idiots, man. And the thing that annoys me more than anything is that this idea is starting to grow within the Xbox fanboy community. It's starting to grow and grow. And anytime an Xbox game falls short, or something that Xbox doesn't hit the mark, instead of actually taking a step back and looking at the situation and evaluating what happened, nope. It must be the Xbox tax. It's got to be the media bias. It couldn't possibly be Xbox's fault. Couldn't possibly be their fault. I mean, Xbox is the best box, guys. They're the greatest company in the world. I start every morning with my box of Xbox Elite cereal. I substitute my milk for Phil Spencer's semen, and the Xbox can do no fucking wrong. So if anything bad happens with Xbox, it must be the Xbox tax or the media bias. What's my evidence? Are you kidding me? Evidence? Have you not been listening? I've been telling you about all this Xbox tax and media bias. That's my evidence. These people are beyond dumb. Their argument is beyond dumb. There is no evidence of an Xbox tax being real. It saddens me that Xbox tax is trending. You know what we should do? We should see if we can get fucking. Let's see if we can get Xbox Boogeyman trending, because that's really what this is. The Xbox tax isn't real, but the Xbox Boogeyman. Let's see if we can get Xbox Boogeyman. Hashtag Xbox Boogeyman trending, because that's what the Xbox tax is. It's just the fucking boogeyman for Xbox fanboys. And like I said before, it's sad that this is something that's growing within the community of Xbox fanboys, where now anytime something happens, anytime something negative happens, instead of criticizing the brand, instantly here comes the white knight of Xbox tax. Oh, it would have scored higher if it weren't for the Xbox tax. Oh, we would sell way more consoles if it wasn't for the Xbox tax. Oh, insert bullshit victim statement here if it weren't for the Xbox tax. Fuck the Xbox tax. It isn't real. It's bullshit. And honestly, anyone trying to tell you that it's real, they're full of shit. They don't have any evidence to make that case. And tell them that. Tell them, listen, you're full of shit. Say, okay, if it's real, prove it. Prove that it's real. Give me actual, legitimate, irrefutable evidence, not anecdotal bullshit. Oh, well, I saw. Oh, this guy said. No, show me real fucking evidence that the Xbox tax exists, like courtroom evidence. Because that's how I handle these situations, right? When we have these situations, I handle it like a courtroom. Is the evidence that you're providing evidence that would stand up in a court of law? And I know some people might be saying, oh, that's ridiculous to try to treat it like a court of law. It's just video games. Listen, I don't give a fuck that it's just video games. If you're going to try to say that something is real and it exists, then the evidence that you present better stand up in a court of law. And I'll tell you right now, if any of these motherfuckers tried to make their case to a judge, they would get laughed out of the fucking courthouse. Laughed out of the fucking courthouse. The judge would be like, are you fucking kidding me? That's your evidence? Get the fuck out of here. Right? So, in closing, the Xbox tax is not real. If you're an Xbox fanboy trying to say it's real, well then you and Pepe Silvia can both go fuck yourselves. Hashtag Xbox Boogeyman. And that's all I got for you guys on this one. And that's the video, guys. Let me know what you think down in the comments. Do you think the Xbox tax is real? Do you have evidence? Provide it down in the comments. Let's have a conversation. And as always, feel free to like, share, and subscribe. And I'll catch you guys on the next Supernova.